I've just got fed up of this mask. You might also have got. But it has become as important as that belt on our waist. We just can't leave our house without any one of them. Namaste, my dear students. How are you? I hope that you are doing great and the learning process is going smoothly. Students, can you tell me that one quality which makes humans different than animals? Think about it. Okay, let me tell you. We humans can express ourselves using words. Right? Yes. Not only just words, we express ourselves using those words together. And we use those words in a certain order. Why? So that the words that we speak make complete sense. You can ask me, sir, why are you talking about all of this? From where did words come and from where did sentences come? So, my dear students, let me tell you that today we are going to learn more about sentences. We are going to learn about the definition of sentences. We are going to learn about different kinds of sentences, and we are going to learn about two more different topics which you might not have heard earlier. So, stay with me till the end of this video to learn all of these things. Let's begin. Let's have a look at the definition of a sentence. What is a sentence? A group of words that makes complete sense. As you can see that a sentence has two qualities. Number one, it is a group of words. And number two, it makes complete sense. Now can you tell me, do the given words form a sentence? Divya school bus by goes to. No. Obviously, this is a group of words, but it does not make complete sense. So it is not a sentence. Let's see again. Now, do they form a sentence? Yes. This group of words make complete sense. That is why it is a sentence. Divya goes to school by bus. So, we can see that a sentence is a group of words that makes complete sense. Let's see characteristics of a sentence. There are two characteristics of a sentence. Number one, it begins with a capital letter. Now I have seen many students while writing, they forget to use capital letter. So this you need to remember that always begin a new sentence with a capital letter. And in the end of the sentence, either put full stop or a mark of interrogation, which you call question mark, or a mark of exclamation, which you call exclamatory mark. So these are the two characteristics of a sentence. Now here is one more new thing which we are going to learn today, the phrase. What is a phrase? Like sentences, phrases are also groups of words. But the second quality is little bit different than a sentence. Phrases also make sense, but they do not make complete sense. They make sense, but they do not make complete sense. They are group of words. They make sense, but they do not make complete sense. Have a look. An old story. The last flight. Under the bus. To grandfather. All of these groups of words, they are making sense, but they are not making any complete sense. But by adding few more words to them, we can change these phrases into sentence. Have a look. My mother told me an old story. So our phrase was an old story. And I have added these words my mother told me to it, and now it makes complete sense. Likewise, Jia missed the last flight to Mumbai. Now this is a complete sentence. A dog was sitting under the bus. So now our under the bus, this phrase starts making sense. Hand over this juice to grandfather. To grandfather, Now this phrase also starts making sense because we have added a few more words to it. So this is the main difference between a sentence and a phrase. That a sentence makes complete sense, but a phrase makes sense but not complete sense. And both of these are group of words. One more point you need to remember here is that a sentence must have a verb. As human body cannot work without a heart, likewise, a sentence must contain a verb. It is the heart of the sentence. Let's check your understanding of this concept with this exercise. Identify the following groups of words as a sentence or a phrase or nothing. Best the essay writing art. Best the essay writing art. This does not make sense. It is a group of words. It is neither a sentence nor it is a phrase. Next. I am waiting for the train since last 2 hours. I am waiting for the train since last 2 hours. Yes, this makes complete sense, so it is a sentence. Next, a few clothes from the V-Mart. A few clothes from the V-Mart. This is a group of words which makes sense but not complete sense. So, it is a phrase. Yes. We live in the railway colony beside the station. We live in the railway colony beside the station. Yes, it is a sentence. Next. Do you enjoy Indian classical music? Do you enjoy Indian classical music? Yes, this also makes complete sense, so it is also a sentence. Next, a complete entertainer. A complete entertainer. These words also make sense but not complete sense, so they are a phrase. An angry young man. An angry young man. This is also a phrase. Next, he cats and dogs loves angry hungry. No, this does not make any sense, so neither it is a sentence nor it is a phrase. Next, he is the best tailor in this area. He is the best tailor in this area. Yes, this also makes complete sense, so this is also a sentence. Last, without any. Without any. No, this group of words also does not make any sense, so it is neither a sentence nor a phrase. So I think that the concept of a sentence and a phrase is clear to you. So let's move on to the parts of a sentence. Now as you can see, there are two parts of every sentence. The first one is subject and the next one is predicate. Now what is a subject? That about which the sentence is known as subject. जिसके बारे में sentence है, जिसके बारे में sentence में बात हो रही है, वो क्या है? Subject. और जो बात हो रही है, that which is said about the subject, it is known as predicate. जो बात हो रही है, वो कहलाती है predicate. Let's take an example. I am reading a novel. Here, I is subject and am reading a novel, it is a predicate. Next, several years ago, there ruled a king. Now, usually, a subject is placed before the predicate, but here, in some cases, a subject can also be placed after the predicate. Look, several years ago, there ruled a king. Here, several years ago, there ruled, it is a predicate, and a king, because the sentence is about a king, so it is a subject. Very good. Remember few more points. The subject usually comes first, but occasionally it may be placed after the predicate. This we have already discussed. Next, in an imperative sentence, the subject is always you. It might not be stated, but it is implied. Now, you might have observed that imperative sentences, they don't have any kind of subject. Have a look at the examples. Give me a glass of water. So here, you is not present, but it is implied. Okay? Because I must be saying this sentence to someone in front of me, and that person I can address with you. Next, take a taxi to Ujjain. This is a suggestion which I am giving to some person. Now, you is not stated here, but it is implied. You need to understand that you is present there in every imperative sentence. Very good. Let's take another small exercise to test your understanding. Identify the subject and predicate in the given sentences. Several medicinal plants grow in our garden which have great medicinal properties. What is a subject here? Our garden. That is a subject here because we are talking about our garden, and rest is the predicate. Next, Tulsi is one of them. Yes, the sentence is about Tulsi, so Tulsi is a subject and rest part is predicate. Next, eat a couple of Tulsi leaves every day to stay healthy. Now here it is an imperative sentence because a suggestion is being given here. So you, although it is not stated, it is implied that you is a subject here and rest of the sentence is a predicate. Next, we must not drink water from pond or lake. Yes, we is subject here and rest of the part is predicate. Next, on the top of my shelf lies a clock. Yes, my shelf. This is a subject here. Rest of the part is predicate. Very good. Now let's move on to another part of our video, kinds of sentences. Now there are 4 kinds of sentences. As you know very well, what are they? Assertive or declarative sentences, interrogative sentences, imperative sentences, and exclamatory sentences. Let's understand them once again in detail. What are assertive or declarative sentences? Sentences which state or declare something. Okay, which make statement or which make any kind of declaration. Those sentences are known as assertive sentences. Now, these are of 2 kinds. First one, affirmative or positive sentences. Second, negative sentences. As you know very well, but still, let's take examples to understand them clearly. First, Himesh ran to catch the bus. Now this is a positive or affirmative sentence. Second, he could not board it. Now here, since not is being used, so it is conveying a negative message. It is a negative statement. So these 2 are the examples of an affirmative and a negative sentence. Now come the second kind of sentences, interrogative sentences. What are interrogative sentences? Sentences which ask question. As you know that police does interrogation of criminals. Okay, so what does this interrogation means? Means they ask question. Okay, so interrogative sentences are also of 2 kinds. Yes no questions and second one, WH questions. Now this is little bit complicated, so understand it very carefully. What are yes no questions? As you can understand from the name, the sentences whose answer is given in either yes or no. questions whose answer can be given in either yes or no. Those are known as yes-no questions. Have a look at the examples. Are you coming to the party? Now, here I can answer this question in either yes, I am coming to the party, or no, I am not coming to the party. So this is a yes-no question. Next, do you enjoy watching IPL? Here also, I can either say yes, I enjoy watching IPL, or I can say no, I do not enjoy watching IPL. So, those sentences or those questions whose answer we can give in either yes or no, they are known as yes or no questions. Now remember, these begin with auxiliary verbs. These questions begin with auxiliary verbs like are, do, have, did, had. These all are auxiliary verbs. Okay, so these kinds of yes no questions begin with auxiliary verbs. Now come the second kind of questions, WH questions. What are WH questions? Those questions whose answer we cannot give in yes or no. Okay, we need to say something else to answer these questions. And these begin with the words starting with WH, like who, whose, whom, what, which, where, how. These all are WH questions. Let's take a look how can we form WH questions. First, interrogative pronouns used to ask WH questions. We can use interrogative pronouns to ask WH questions like who, whose, and whom. We can use them to question about person. What? We can use this to question about a person or a thing. Which? To question about person and things. Okay? Second way is we can use interrogative adjectives to ask these questions. What are interrogative adjectives? Like what, which, whose. We can use these to ask WH questions. And third are interrogative adverbs. They can also be used to ask questions like when, where, why, how. Let's take a look at the examples so that the topic will become more clear to you. First, who is the current president of India? Who means kaun. Whose shoes are lying on the stairs? Whose means kiske. Whom do you wish to meet once in your lifetime? Whom means kisse. What is Ishika's email ID? What means kya. Which train can I take for Delhi? Which means kaun si. When will the schools reopen normally? When means kab. Where has mother kept the pen drive? Where means kahan. Why can't people follow traffic rules? Why means kyun. How is this dish prepared? How means kaise. So these were examples of WH questions. Now let's test your understanding of the topic with this small exercise. Fill in the blanks with the suitable question words. First, dash do your grandparents live? Dash do your grandparents live? Where do your grandparents live? Very good. Next, dash newspapers do you read? Dash newspapers do you read? Which newspapers do you read? Next, dash does Jio offer such great network? Dash does Jio offer such great network? How does Jio offer such great network? Next, dash do the hostelers get in dinner? What do the hostelers get in dinner? Next, dash parents are in civil services? Dash parents are in civil services? Whose parents are in civil services? Next. Dash will you vote in next elections? Dash will you vote in next elections? Whom will you vote in next elections? Very good. Next. Dash can you attend the conference? Dash can you attend the conference? When can you attend the conference? Next. Dash will they reach the bus stand? Dash will they reach the bus stand? How will they reach the bus stand? Very good. Next. Dash were these pictures clicked? Dash were these pictures clicked? Yes, there can be many answers to this question. So, when were these pictures clicked? Or where were these pictures clicked? Or how were these pictures clicked? These could be the answers. Next. Dash is standing beside Sachin. Dash is standing beside Sachin. Who is standing beside Sachin? Very good. If you have got all the answers correct, wonderful. Now, let's move on to another kind of sentences, imperative sentences. What are imperative sentences? You know very well. Sentences which express a command or an order, an instruction, a request, or an advice. So, whichever sentence expresses any of these, a command, an instruction, a request, or an advice, that sentence will be known as imperative sentence. Let's have a look at the examples. Don't pluck flowers. This is an order. Next. Close your books and open your test notebooks. This is an instruction. So this is also an imperative sentence. Turn off the fans, please. This is a request. Next. You can watch the IPL on Hotstar too. So this is an advice. Thus, all of these sentences are imperative sentences. It was very simple. Let's move on to our next kind of sentences, exclamatory sentences. What are exclamatory sentences? Sentences which express some strong feeling or sudden emotion. Okay, those sentences are called exclamatory sentences. For example, what a marvelous shot it is. Here, it is a sudden emotion which has been expressed. Likewise, how naughty that kid is. This is also a sudden emotion. So both of these are examples of exclamatory sentences. Now, you might have observed that I have used the mark of exclamation at the end of these sentences. So, to identify any kind of exclamatory sentence, look at this exclamation mark. If it is there, that means that sentence is an exclamatory sentence. Very good. Now, let's move on to the new topic which we are going to learn today. Before we dive into that, let's have a look at this conversation between me and my friend.
Namaste Rachit bhai.
Namaste, sir.
How are you doing?
I am all good. What about you?
I'm feeling kind of tired. It's a sunny day, isn't it?
Yeah, it's too hot here.
Acha, I saw you at Rajwada yesterday, didn't I?
Yeah, I went there for shopping. You went there too, didn't you?
Yeah, I went there. But later I saw you with police, didn't I?
Yeah, they caught me for not wearing mask. This COVID sucks.
Oh, really? And you were fined also.
Yeah, they fined me for 300 bucks. That sucks too. But you are not going to tell it to my parents, are you?
Of course not. I'm not going to tell it to your parents. But it is going to cost you something.
You do this to me every time, don't you?
Of course not. This is the first time I'm doing this to you. So, where is the treat?
Let's find out. Let's go.
Okay, great.
That was not an ordinary conversation. You must also have had such conversation with your friends. But to what I want to attract your attention is that we both have used short questions after every sentences that we spoke. What were those questions? And how to form them? What is the purpose of those questions? Let's talk about this in detail. Those questions are called question tags, and we are going to learn how to form such question tags. So let's begin. A question tag is a short question placed at the end of a statement, usually in informal English. What does it mean? It means when we are conversing with some person informally, like I am conversing with my friend. So, to confirm a statement, I'll put short question tags at the end of my statements. Just to confirm a statement, I'll put these short questions at the end of a statement. So these are called question tags, like have you, haven't you, were you, weren't you, will you, won't you, do you, don't you. These all are placed at the end of a statement to confirm the statement. Okay, let's learn how to form these question tags. Number 1. If the main sentence has an auxiliary verb, it is repeated in the question tag. Now, as I have already described you, what are auxiliary verbs? Can, may, shall, could, should, would, will, have, had, is, am, are. These all are known as auxiliary verbs. If the main sentence has an auxiliary verb, any of them, then it is repeated in the question tag. Have a look at the examples. You are reading this book, aren't you? Here, I have repeated aren't you once again to confirm if the person is reading the book or not. So, aren't you is a question tag here. Okay? Next. They cannot win this game, can they? So here cannot, although it is negative, it is also an auxiliary verb. So I have repeated it again in the question tag. Can they? So if our main sentence has an auxiliary verb, it is repeated in the question tag. Now, what if the main sentence does not have an auxiliary verb? What will we do? We will use do, does, or did in the question tag. Have a look at the examples. We cancelled our booking, didn't we? Now this sentence, it does not have any auxiliary verb. So what have we done? Since it was in past tense, we have asked a question in past tense only. So what is the past tense of do? Did. Now I have said didn't we? Okay. Next, I ordered Hakka noodles, didn't I? Here also, since we did not have any auxiliary verb, I have used did. Okay, so this was the second point. Third, the tense remains the same. Whenever we are forming a question tag, the tense remains same. Have a look at the examples. Dave has subscription of Netflix, doesn't he? Here, has is a verb and it is in simple present tense. What have I done? I have asked the question in simple present tense only. Doesn't he? Okay. Second example. Devika is preparing lemonade, isn't she? Here, is preparing tells us that this is a sentence of present continuous tense. And so I have made the question tag in present continuous tense only, isn't she? So this point is also clear to you. The tense remains same while you are forming the question tag. Next important rule. This you might have observed in earlier examples and you will observe this in the coming examples also. Positive statements, they have negative question tag, and negative statements, they have positive question tag. Whenever a statement is positive, the question tag will be in negative. And whenever a statement is in negative, you will have a positive question tag with it. Next, short form of the negatives is used in negative question tags. This you need to remember. Whenever you are forming a negative question tag, you will use its short form like haven't, didn't, don't, can't. I have not said have not, did not, do not, or cannot. Okay, because whenever they are used as a question tag, you will always use their short form. Next, the question tag for I am will be aren't I. Whenever your main statement has I am, the question tag you will use will be aren't I. Have a look at the examples. I am giving you company, aren't I? As you can see, here the sentence is in present continuous tense and the subject is I. So the question tag that I have used is aren't I. Likewise, I am laughing hard, aren't I? So this also tells us that whenever we have I as a subject and it is used in a present continuous tense, we will use aren't I as its question tag. Next, after positive commands, will you and won't you can be used. Now we have learnt about imperative sentences. So whenever we have positive commands, we can use will you or won't you as a question tag. For example, stand up for the national anthem. Will you? So here this is a command and I have inserted will you. This is correct. Next, sing it in tune. Won't you? Now I have used won't you here. So this is also correct. So whenever someone is giving command, you can use will you or won't you with the positive commands. Very good. Next, after negative commands, will you is used. Whenever we are forming negative commands, we will use will you. Okay? Have a look at the examples. Don't use too much sanitizer. Will you? Now it is a negative command. So I have used will you with it. Likewise, don't listen music on high volume. Will you? Here also the command was negative. That's why I have used will you with it. Last but not the least, after let us, we use shall we. Now whenever we are forming sentences with let us, we will use shall we as a question tag. Have a look at the examples. Let us go on picnic this Sunday. Shall we? Here I have used shall we. Okay? Because let us, it means there are more than one people you are talking to and you are talking to all of them including you. So what we will use? We will use shall we. Next example. Let us wait for the rain to stop. Shall we? Here also there are more than one people because that's why we have used let us. Us shows that there are more than one people. Okay, and that's why we have used shall we as a question tag here. So I think that you all have understood this concept very clearly. So let's check your understanding with this short exercise. Add appropriate question tags to the following sentences. First, she had not taken necessary precautions. She had not taken necessary precautions. Hadn't she? Yes, that is the correct answer. Next, selfish people do not make good friends. Selfish people do not make good friends. Do they? Yes, that is the correct answer. Since people is plural, so I will use plural pronoun. So I have used they. And auxiliary verb is do not, so I will use do. So do they. Next, take good care of your parents. Take good care of your parents. Will you or won't you? Both are correct. Take good care of your parents. Will you? Or take good care of your parents. Won't you? Because this is a command. So both of these usages are correct. Next, let us recycle the waste material. Let us recycle the waste material. Shall we? With let us we use shall we. Very good. Next, Mrs. Verma did not give clear instructions. Mrs. Verma did not give clear instructions. Did she? Why? Because here auxiliary verb is did not. Next, it takes both rain and sunshine to create rainbow. It takes both rain and sunshine to create rainbow. Doesn't it? Yes, that is the correct answer. Next, don't waste a single drop of water. Don't waste a single drop of water. Since this is a command, so will you and won't you both are correct usages. Don't waste a single drop of water. Won't you? This is correct. Or don't waste a single drop of water. Will you? This is also correct. Next, in this respect, I am absolutely fair. In this respect, I am absolutely fair. Aren't I? Yes, because with I am we use aren't I. Next, these bills won't take long to check. These bills won't take long to check. Will they? Because won't is negative and so we will use positive question tag. Next, intelligence without hard work is useless. Intelligence without hard work is useless. Isn't it? Yes, because is a verb here. So, intelligence without hard work is useless, isn't it? That is the correct usage. So, I hope that this topic is clear to you. So, if there is any kind of question or doubt, you may ask it in the comments below or you may ask it in the class. Thank you. Have a good day.